Yo, this SV Twiz the Hood blogger. You already know how I carry it. Man, shout out to everybody that been rocking with the content. If you're new to the channel, bro, join the family, man. Sub. Show some love. But to get straight into it, today, I'm covering another Philly legend, BRICKY. And I'm going to give a little backstory, and then I'm going to speak on the murder that led him to serving a 30 to 70 years prison sentence. First and foremost, man, shout out to BRICKY. Hold your head up. And he actually has a channel out right now. I believe it's called Free BRICKY TV. I'm gonna throw that link in there where, you know what I'm saying, he basically he got like stories, and you know, he's still like be rapping and everything from up in the mountains. Y'all know how it is upstate and in jail nowadays, where you can do the Zoom Jones and all of that. So he pretty much got a podcast rolling from upstate, and I came across the channel, and you know, I don't think the channel, it ain't been taken off like it really should have. And if I'm not mistaken, he hasn't posted anything in a few months. But if you didn't come across his channel, check that joint out, man. Support the channel. And he speaks on, you know, random topics, things. He gives you like another side of BRICKY that the people don't know about. But just to get straight into it, bro, BRICKY, man, West Philly finest, bro. It's like he always represented Ruby Street, and a lot of people don't know, before he was on them DVDs, he was out putting footwork in. So he was already the man out West Philly. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the era period. Remind you, early 2000s, that's how people got on. Whether you made it to a label or even to make it to them DVDs back then, you couldn't be somebody that wasn't getting busy in your hood, in the streets already. If you wanted to, you know, jump on the DVD, if you wanted some type of recognition, it wasn't like how it is nowadays, where you can go in the studio, you can put out some fire music, you can record some fire music, and then put that joint on the internet and take off overnight. You know, it wasn't like that back then. For those of y'all that was around, y'all know what I'm talking about. You really had to build it brick by brick. But just to get into it, like I said, he was already running around battling people. That was like the main genre that people was doing back then. It was all battles, and of course you going freestyle if it's a cypher or if you around your folks. But around like 03, he was getting busy in the streets. So 2005, bro, I was in Glen Mills. I was in Hayes Hall. So if y'all was ever up Glen Mills, y'all know we got the recreation center in there. And we had certain times like where we can dip off, and you know what I'm saying, people that rap, because everybody rapped from Philly back then. But BRICKY was in there treating people. And when he was in there treating people, he wasn't the BRICKY from Touch Money. This was 2005. He wasn't on them DVDs yet. He was just known as being hot. And there was a few other guys that was vicious in Glen Mills from Philly. But he was like one of the top guys in there. And I seen him getting people out the way. I forgot, you know what I'm saying? Actually, I know his last name is White, but you know, I didn't know him personally. I just knew him by his face. And Philly people knew. You knew when you came across a Philly person just from how we dressed and how we talked. So he was in there wrecking people, bro. And at the same time, while I'm in there, I was also hearing about Meek. Meek wasn't out yet either. But all the guys from South Philly, they was talking about, you know, Meek next up. It's this dude named Meek Mill next up. So when we heard BRICKY and all of them, remind you, at this time, Cheek Raw and Vodka, they had the streets on lock. So I was like, you know, boy, nice, but we already had the people we was tuned into for the DVDs. So I come home from Glen Mills, and I'm watching, I forgot what DVD it is. I see BRICKY on the joint. I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying, he took it serious. You know what I mean? He kept pushing. So he ended up on them DVDs, and from my understanding, he had Battle NH first at the Hut. When he had Battle NH, you know what I'm saying, he was pretty much locked in after that. Then also after him battling NH, I'm not sure if it was after or before, It might have been before he battled NH, but he ended up battling, actually, I'm tripping, definitely before he battled NH, before he went to Glen Mills, he battled Young Hot, bro. He battled Young Hot, and they had mics and all of that stuff on there. Yeah, I mean, basically, this is a clip from an interview I did with Young Hot, and he speak on it.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? You know, and next, I just gotta ask you, bro. You know what I'm saying? First and foremost, definitely, you know what I'm saying, free Brick or Raw. But I gotta ask you, for sure. And I just gotta say that, you know, I remember seeing a old clip, bro. That joint was super old. You know what I'm saying?
You must be talking about the battle.
The battle, bro. I gotta ask you, how did that come apart? You know what I'm saying?
My man Moose. My man Moose lived on Brick's block. This was before all that type of money. So this was like actually my introduction to them. So I didn't really know them until the battle with Brick. West Philly's small, but the other side of the market is damn near North Philly. Like especially young boys, you know. So we didn't really give somebody outside, like not on a disrespectful way. We just didn't have no reason to really go over there or talk to nobody over there. You know what I'm saying? When they was going off, I had my side. Like I had the south side of market, everything from market down to Baltimore, and a little bit up top. But like on my end, that was my section. You know what I'm saying? And Moose came around my block one day and said some shit like, oh man, my young boy on my block, man, it's this, and I want to see y'all battle and da. Like Moose just used to gas shit. That's just how Moose was. Like he laughed and joked and just want to gas and see some shit happen. He was a fan of rap. You know what I'm saying? So he was just like, man, my young boy Bricks will trash you, man. You don't want no work for Bricks. And I'm telling you, da. So I'm like, man, tell him to come around here then. So he went in, like, literally in like 15 minutes. It was like, you know, it ain't that far. So nigga went, grabbed Bricks real quick, funny right back around my block. We actually started battling like around 3 o'clock. It was like 3 p.m. Y'all didn't see that battle part until, matter of fact, I said like 5. It was like 5 p.m. we started. Y'all didn't really see the actual video battle part of it until I think like what time was it? Like 8 or 9? Like it ended up going down that way. We ended up hearing about that battle. Like we ended up hearing about that battle on that. If I'm not mistaken, I think I got that story correct because I know we did the battle on my block and over there. Like I think we ended up hearing about that battle while we battling. Actually went back over there. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah, because I know.
If I'm not mistaken, because that's what I'm going. The only opposite story could be that he battled there first, and then he came back and we battled again on my block. But either way, I know we battled both spots, like on the corner of my block and at the and over there at the hut. And that's when I met like Shellyano. That's when I met That's when I met everybody on that end.
So eventually, he get home from Glen Mills. And he take off with Touch Money, the Touch Money and Headshot stuff. They going back and forth. That was a legendary moment. That's a topic of its own. But during the DVD era, you know, these guys was lit. And they would be getting bread off of mixtapes and stuff like that. But certain guys that was doing DVDs, you know what I mean? I don't know if they was giving them portions of it. 9 times out of 10. You know, people was young and they was already in the streets doing what they could do to get money, so they was happy for the exposure. But a lot of guys from the DVD era wasn't getting too much bread off of their music. Like it wasn't no, you know, monetizing their stuff. They was just hood legends. You know what I mean? And, you know, they was enjoying the exposure, but still doing what they was doing in the streets. So people got to get it how they get it, bro. And Bricks was one of them guys that, you know, he was outside. He was doing things to survive. Things that we all did from the streets, bro. You know what I mean? And he was still young at the time when he had got booked and everything. Because if I'm not mistaken, it was like the summer of 08. He got locked up. So he was no older than, you know what I mean, 20, 21. He was between probably like 20, 22 when he had got locked up. But I remember when I had heard the news and everything, and you know, it was just an unfortunate situation that he had ended up getting hit with the 30 to 70. Now, for those of y'all that don't know, you already know how I carry it. Right now, I'm going to give y'all, you know, the full details of what allegedly took place, and it was him with two of his homies, when this situation had transpired. So I'm about to get into this story right now. Facing possible death penalties if convicted, first-degree murder, 3 men have pled guilty in exchange for varying prison terms in April 13th, 2008. Robbery and shooting of a man entering a North Philly mosque for morning prayer. Jury selection was to have begun Monday in Philadelphia Common Pleas Court for Walter White, who is Bricks, Joe McCleary, and Stephen Mack, all 22. Instead, one by one, Mack, then Cleary, and finally on Thursday, White pleaded guilty to third-degree murder in the shooting of Quadi Salamani. Excuse his name, I can't pronounce the brother name. He's definitely like a brother from Cross Seas. But as well as conspiracy and multiple breakdown, he was with 2 other people. The 2 other people, they had pled guilty first, and then Bricks had pled guilty. Now, they also gave them a conspiracy of multiple robbery and counts. Now, I don't know how it worked everywhere, but I know like out Philly, like say for instance, you get caught for a robbery, and when you get caught for a robbery, the area you get caught for the robbery in, it might have been 3-4 other robberies that took place in that area within the time span that they caught you for the robbery. So if you rob somebody Thursday and get locked up, and they just saw it was a robbery the Monday before that, then it was a robbery the week before that, they would try to jam all of those robberies on you, even if it's not clear evidence that you did it. So according to Assistant District Attorney Brian Zarella, the prison terms are 30 to 70 years for White, a West Philly, aka Bricks, who with McCleary fired the shots that killed Salamani. Now they saying basically Bricks and McCleary was allegedly the shooters in this situation. Now Bricks got a 30 to 70, and then it says 40 to 80 years for McCleary of North Philly, and then it says 17 to 35 years for Mack of West Philly also. He was the driver of the getaway car. The terms have been formally approved in hearings during the next few months before Judge Shelley Robbins. Salumani, 33, of Deptford, was found dead outside Al-Aqsa Islamic Society Mosque at Germantown Avenue and Jefferson Street about 5:50 a.m. So, remind you, Bricks from West, and it was like early in the morning. So he was obviously around down north all night, and then they probably was about to, actually I'm tripping because he actually did an interview, and he was speaking on basically what happened. He had went down north because it was a female he knew down there, and he went down there and politic with her, and they was rapping and all of that. And then they probably, once they spun off from there, or probably when they was on their way down there, the allegations had occurred where, who knows, bro, like, because looking in the paperwork, I don't even know if it was even a gun recovered, what evidence they have. I'm gonna actually try to see if I can find a docket number to dig into the details that they had more, because sometimes even if your car fit the description, they don't even gotta find a gun. When it's like a body involved, they're just jamming on somebody. So who knows what really happened and what really took place. But the police had quickly determined that robbery, not religious differences, basically saying that it wasn't a hate crime, that they didn't kill him just because he had his strobe and everything on. Now they said robbery was the motive and linked the 3 men through reports of a gold Buick sedan parked near the mosque before the shooting. Police were already investigating the armed robbery by men in the gold Buick of a group of girls walking nearby 8th and Dolphin Streets, Zarello said. That robbery, in which a gun was fired over the girls' heads, was included in the 3 plea agreements, he added. So they basically got them down where they pled guilty for that robbery also, where it was a group of girls that was getting robbed, and somebody fired shots over the girls' heads, to try to make them give it up. Zarello said that the men had been following the taxi driver that morning. The cab parked in front of the mosque and went inside. The robbers drove around the block to approach the car from behind. At that moment, Soleimani was at the door of the mosque, Zarello said, and the robbers apparently mistook him for the cabbie. McCleary and White basically approached them. They was trying to, rob them and stuff like that, and they said that it was a struggle. It was a struggle with the brother. Anybody know about, Islam, especially like the brothers from cross seas that, really be in the masjid and all of that. Part of the belief is you don't let nobody take nothing from you. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to, for instance, if you did a hard day of work and you earned your bread, you know what I'm saying? You earned your bread the right way, that you're supposed to never come home empty-handed to your family. So a man is not allowed to take what you got that you earned for your family. So the brother was basically, not trying to give it up. He was probably wrestling with him. Then it says, after the struggle ensued, both men shot Soleimani and fled. Zarello said the 3 were also suspects but not charged in 2 or 3 other armed robberies in the area. So it was other robberies in the area and they didn't pin them, but just so happened that they had pled guilty to also the robbery and the shooting above the head of the girls down Dolphin Street. So it was a very unfortunate situation because, Bricks was that guy at that time. And like I said, the rap money wasn't that how it is nowadays. You know what I mean? If they was able to have social media and monetize stuff back then, they would have been in way different predicaments. That was during the time where you had to go through a major. You know what I mean? So that's the story right there, man. Of Brick Raw, why he's serving 30 to 70 years today. I'm pretty sure he's working on an appeal. And it's a hard job once you get in there to just to get a clean appeal without having loopholes in the case. So I don't know exactly how the paperwork is rolled out, but I do know he got 15 in, so he got half of the 30 in. So who knows, he might be able to do another 5 and might be able to get some type of leniency where he can get released. And last that I heard, he was up Huntington State Prison. And he just bedding right now, man. From what I heard through the interviews and stuff, the stuff even on his podcast, Free BRICKY TV, he seemed to be the same Bricks. Of course, he got older and more mature and everything, but he seemed like he still stand on the same principles and morals that he always stood on. You know what I'm saying? So it was an unfortunate situation. And for those of y'all that might look at these type of videos or hear these stories, before you judge, everybody's situation is different. And I know, like, when you in the streets and when you're young, you're not double thinking of what you're doing. All you doing is trying to chase a bag. You might find yourself robbing somebody or end up having to shoot somebody when it just happens, bro. It just take a minute. A robbery can always turn to a shooting quick. So who knows, when the guy was getting robbed, they might have felt like he was trying to reach for a gun, or he might have, you know what I mean? And these are the type of things that happen during robberies. But once again, another unfortunate situation, another soldier, another talented person that we lost to the penitentiary due to things that happen in the streets, because You know, the money wasn't coming fast enough, man. But you already know how I carry it, man. This SV Twiz, the hood blogger. Once again, shout out to everybody and stay posted, man. New content on the way, man. I'm gonna keep them coming.